Just over a month ago, this 38-year-old meat lover decided to go vegan. And since then, lots of people have been asking me why. So I thought, rather than constantly sending you off to various links on the internet that give like generic reasons why people go vegan, I'd finally make a video where I just explain it all, talk you through my thought process, and that way, next time it comes up on social media or on stream, I can just point you back to this video, and I don't have to become one of those preachy vegans who tells you all the time. That's the plan anyway. So, a loose structure for this video. I'm going to start off by explaining why I was sort of toying with the idea for a couple of years now to go vegan and what eventually pushed me over the edge into making the decision. We'll then have a little bit of a chat about how it's going, why I've decided to stay vegan, and then I've also asked for a whole load of questions from you guys over on Twitter, which I'll stick at the end of the video just to kind of answer some of the common questions that go along with why have you gone vegan? Because there's lots of other questions that kind of feed off the back of that one as well. If you are new to the channel because you were just looking for the answer to this question, my name's Kevin Chapman. I'm a full-time YouTuber. I've been a full-time YouTuber for the last 3 years or so, both on this vlog channel and I've got a gaming channel as well. All my links and stuff are down in the description below. But your best bet would be to just subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and come and hang out with me for a bit. It's lovely round here. So here we go then. Why did I go vegan? Well, it's been something that it's been something I'd been toying with for a little while. And those of you who follow me on my Football Manager channel as well will remember last year, 18 months or so ago, I managed Forest Green on Football Manager. And as part of those videos, we had a whole little gag intro thing where because Forest Green are a vegan football club, if you weren't familiar with them, but I did a little jokey intro where I bought a box of vegan snacks and tried one of them as part of the intro to every one of the videos of that series. Just really, it started out as a way, I'll be really blunt, it started out as a way to mock vegans because it just seemed ridiculous, the idea of a vegan football club. But the more of these snacks that I tried and the more research I did off the back of managing Forest Green, the more I realised I liked every one of these snacks. I wasn't missing the eggs, the cheese, the meat that would have gone into these crisps and chocolate bars. There probably wouldn't be a lot of meat in a chocolate bar normally, but various little snacks. I got sent some vegan snacks off the back of it. I was sent some vegan jerky, which was really nice. I did a little bit of research into Forest Green, saw how they made their match day pies, all that kind of stuff. And it just kind of set something off in my head that just started fermenting in there about 18 months ago. Fast forward another 6 months or so, Lucy, my oldest daughter, she went vegetarian with a plan to eventually go vegan. And as part of that, I started sampling some vegetarian foods. At Christmas, we had a nut roast. We still had turkey, but we had a nut roast. Whenever we've gone out anywhere with Lucy, there's been vegetarian options. We made a video on this channel nearly a year ago now where we tried a vegan burger and we all really enjoyed it. And I just kept getting into this cycle of every time I tried a vegan option for something, I really liked it. I didn't feel like I was missing out on meat when I was trying this stuff. But I still had this thing where I was saying to everybody, I'm holding out for bacon. If I can find good vegan bacon, that's the only thing that's stopping me going vegan. And that's kind of been my party line for the last year or so. I need bacon. If I can't have bacon, I can't go vegan. And then it got to the start of this year and I started doing these 30-day trials of different diets. I did one on Weight Watchers. I did one on Slimming World. I'd done one on keto. I did one on calorie counting. And there was a plan to do a vegan month this year as part of this trying a different diet each month. But then lockdown happened, completely derailed all the plans I had for making these challenge videos. And I just stopped making them. But then we started to kind of come out the other side of lockdown. We got into the summer and it was like late July, early August time. I thought, you know what? We should probably try and resurrect the vlog channel. Now we can go out and about a little bit. But we've got our holiday. We were going on holiday. At the time, we thought we were going to Disneyland. Ultimately, that got cancelled and we ended up having a week down in London instead. But either way, we had a holiday and I didn't want to ruin my holiday by not eating meat when I was on my holiday. So I made a deal with myself probably late July, early August, that as soon as we got back from our holiday, I was going to do my 30-day vegan challenge video. And I was going to get back into making the challenge videos each month here on the channel. So off the back of making that commitment to myself, I then started researching it because that's what I do. If I'm going to do something, I'm big on the research. I'll read about it. I'll watch documentaries about it. I'll watch YouTube videos about it. I'll ask people about it. And that's when things started to change in my head, because the more I read about being a vegan, the more, and this is where it goes into preachy, hipstery territory, and I apologize, but I kind of don't apologize because this is the thought process that I went through. I started to realize it actually aligned quite well with who I am as a person. And I realized some of the hypocrisies that I had going on in my life. For example, for years now, I've given a monthly donation to an animal charity to sponsor a family of giraffes, because you know I love giraffes. My desktop background here is a giraffe. There's giraffe pictures all over the house. I love giraffes. Giraffes are awesome. And it just struck me as a little bit odd that I was simultaneously giving money each month to save one species of animal, whilst at the same time eating another species of animal. And then I started thinking about Dave, our dog. And again, Dave is brilliant. Dave is my favourite animal in the universe. And it seemed mad that I had this, my little furry friend who I'd never dream of eating. But then over here, there's all these animals that I was eating every day. And the disconnect was starting to happen in my head. But then I got a little bit deeper into it and started to discover some of the health benefits around eating a vegan diet. And started to see some stuff that really resonated with me. For example, processed meat being one of the biggest causes of colon cancer. Now, anyone who's been around on the channel long term will probably be aware that my mum was diagnosed with colon cancer when she was only 40 years old. She battled it for 10 years, ultimately died directly as a result of the colon cancer when she was 50. I'm 38 years old now, so I'm 2 years younger than my mum was when she was diagnosed with this relatively common form of cancer that I have a huge likelihood of getting because of the fact my mum got it so young. I had my first colonoscopy when I was only 30 because the doctors are so worried about me developing this form of cancer. And here I am doing the one thing that most causes colon cancer, eating processed meats. And then I read other articles and other books talking about an animal diet being linked to heart disease and high blood pressure. I have high blood pressure. You look at my family history, not only do I have high blood pressure, my dad has high blood pressure as well. That's another thing that runs in the family. So I've got the double threat of high blood pressure and colon cancer, both of which there are direct links between eating an animal diet and getting those two illnesses. And I'm in the danger age group now at 38 years old. And this is the bit that I feel a little bit weird talking about because it's I don't even know how to phrase it. Just as we got back from our London holiday, Chadwick Boseman died, and we discovered that he had colon cancer, this same cancer that I was worried about. And not only that, he got diagnosed with it when he was my age. And that, knocked me for six. This guy who was literally a superhero. He was a vegan himself, but this guy was literally a superhero. Had, despite doing everything he could to avoid it, had still succumbed to colon cancer at the same age I am now, and died from it. Right in the prime of his life, right as he was doing his very best work, far too young. And that was kind of the light bulb moment in my head where everything changed from it changed at that point from I'm going to do a 30-day challenge on being a vegan to I've learned so much about this in the last month that I think I probably need to just do this, because I'm now collecting real world examples of people who are much healthier than I am and eat a much better diet than I am, dying from this thing that I already have a bunch of doctors telling me I need to be wary of, and they're worried about me getting. And that, combined with the blood pressure, combined with all of the stuff that I'd learned about animal cruelty, about the environment, all the other stuff that you learn when you start scratching the surface on veganism. And it just became another thing, similar to how I gave up alcohol, similar to how I gave up smoking. I just woke up that day when we got back from London, and I was a vegan then. Just like when I stopped drinking, one day I just thought, I'm not going to drink alcohol ever again. I don't want to, and I didn't. Again, it's part of I consider it part of my autistic tendencies of, if I make a rule, I will follow a rule. We talked about this a little bit when we did the Weight Watchers video earlier in the year. I've never understood, I've never been able to follow a balanced diet. There's too much grey area. If you give me a rule, or if I give myself a rule, I ain't breaking that rule. I don't break that rule. So when I gave up smoking, it wasn't hard. I just decided I wasn't a smoker anymore and never smoked again. When I gave up alcohol, it wasn't hard. I just decided I wasn't a drinker anymore, and I never drank again. And from that very first day, I felt the same way about animal products. I just decided that I didn't eat animal products anymore, and I've not even been tempted for the month plus that it's been happening now. And I firmly believe, as I'm sat here only a month in, that that's it now. I am a vegan for life. Obviously, things can change. I could go and see a doctor next week and they could tell me it's a bad idea. It could develop health problems, you know. Who knows what the future holds. I can't sit here and swear on my kids' lives that I will never eat meat again. But at the moment, I truly believe this is it now. I am a vegan, and I don't see any reason why I would stop. And it's awesome. It's really awesome. Going from looking at all the miserable stuff that sort of led me to making the decision, once I made the decision, the last month has been absolutely fantastic. I feel healthier than I've felt in years. I was going to say than I've ever felt. I'm still not quite back to where I was when I was a sports playing teenager. I still need to shed a little bit of weight, but there is weight going off of me. I have lost weight since doing this, and I've not been dieting. I've not been restricting what I'm eating beyond the whole it has to be plant-based thing. So we've gone out for meals. I've had ice creams, vegan ice creams, of course. I've had sausage rolls. I've had barbecue food. I've had pretty much anything. I've had so many pizzas, like 4 or 5 pizzas over the course of a month. And I've not been dieting at all, but I have been losing weight. Not only have I been losing weight, but my blood pressure is constantly going down. It's not going down loads, but I check my blood pressure once a week. I've got a home blood pressure kit, and each week it's just a little bit lower than it was the week before. And I was reading about this kind of stuff. Those kind of changes to really kick in, that downward trajectory for the blood pressure, that could be going on for the next year or so until it kind of settles down to what my new normal will be without animal products in my system, in my life. And the weight loss will just continue to kind of trickle on at the slow and steady pace it's been going at so far. I've lost about 1/2 stone in this month of not dieting and just only eating plant-based foods. Now, at some point, I do plan to rev that up a bit and not go on a diet, but eat a little bit healthier as part of doing this. Maybe drop some of the pizzas, drop some of the vegan cornettos, and I bought another one of the vegan snack boxes, which is full of chocolates and crisps. And Linda McCartney sausage rolls are fantastic, and I've had about 4 boxes of them this month. I have not been trying to lose weight, but it's happened anyway. But there will come a point once I'm fully settled in and it's just normal. And I think I'm getting there. It's only been a month, but I really do think I'm getting there. Once it is just completely normal, once I'm not having to think anymore about avoiding the meat, at that point, I know I still need to ramp up the health side of it and try and actually shed the weight a little bit quicker. But I'm really happy with how the first month has gone. I've got far more energy than I've had for years. My skin, I mean, I'm a 38-year-old fat guy. Why am I talking about my skin? But look at my skin. My skin is so much healthier than it's been in a long time. My hair, everything. I just feel better. And I'm so excited for where this is leading because it's awesome. It really is awesome. And if it helps me fight against some of these genetic disadvantages that I've got, then even better. But you know what? At this point, if there was a paper published tomorrow that says, actually, you're no less likely to get cancer or high blood pressure being a vegan than you are eating meat, I'd probably stick at it because of all the other benefits that I'm seeing. So the health stuff is kind of just a big bonus at this point. And I'm already getting to that point where I can't see myself. I can't imagine eating meat now. And it's only been a month. We went to one of my favorite barbecue restaurants last week. It was in last week's vlog. And Anna had her pulled pork and all that kind of stuff. And I looked at her dinner and I didn't want it. One of my favorite foods before. I just didn't want it. I was happy with my cauliflower buffalo wings because they were fantastic. My palate is changing. My attitude to all this stuff is changing. And it's awesome. Now, I'm very conscious that I'm already getting quite deep into this video. So I'm going to head to Twitter, grab some of these questions that were asked for the Q&A element of this. We'll probably quick fire a few of them. And if you want a part 2 where I go into more depth on some of the other stuff, we can, because I didn't anticipate this being like a 30-minute video. And I think if I got through all the questions, there are a lot, would probably be an hour-long video. So I'm going to pick out some of the ones that I haven't even scratched the surface on yet, but are getting asked a lot. And the rest will perhaps save for a part 2 if there's demand for it. Let me go and find some questions. Is it sustainable to do it alone, or would going vegan with someone else be much better? I mean, I'm not going to pretend it wouldn't be easier if Anna had gone vegan as well. For those of you who've not been following the story along on Twitch, where I've explained this in a little bit more detail, Anna did try at the start of the month. She made it through the first sort of 3 or 4 days, but the issue Anna's got is she's also lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant, and tried tofu and really didn't like it. So it became very, very difficult for Anna to get anything resembling a healthy diet with that many restrictions. No wheat, no gluten, no lactose, no dairy, no meat, no eggs, no tofu. She also doesn't like beans. It was never going to work, Anna being a vegan. It would be much easier if she was, but it's not that much of a struggle that she's not. I do all the cooking in the house. And what I've kind of got into doing is I'll still do meals. I'll cook a meal for 2 each day, but I kind of rotate it. So let's say on a Monday, I'll cook a vegan meal, 2 portions of it. I'll have one and then put the other one in the fridge. Anna will be having the leftovers from her meaty dinner that I cooked on Sunday. And then Tuesday, she'll have the fresh one. I'll have the leftovers, and she'll save some leftovers for the next day. And it means I'm still cooking the same amount of food. It's just, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal at all. I don't think I could go vegan having tried vegan cheese. Have you tried Violife vegan cheese? It's awesome. I mean, it's not cheese, but it's cheesy enough. And also nutritional yeast can fill the void of a lot of cheese in cheesy situations. I mean, what you'd never get as a vegan, or what I haven't been able to find so far, is a situation where you can just cut a wedge of cheese off of a block and just eat a wedge of cheese and have some cheesy goodness. But spoilers, that wasn't a very healthy thing to do in the first place. And if you're just looking for that cheesy taste, there are ways to get the cheesy taste with the Violife cheese, with the nutritional yeast. And I'm always looking for new ways as well. But they've been fine for me. And like I say, I've had pizza at least once a week throughout all of this, and I'm all right. I haven't really missed cheesy cheese. How much more expensive is it to become vegan? I've always been intrigued by going vegan, but the price of things always puts me off. I've had a lot of this. I never really thought about it before I started, and a month in, I'm still not really thinking about it because we're spending the same amount on shopping as we were before. If we eat out, we spend roughly the same amount that we were spending before. And look at it this way: how much is a steak? How much is a cauliflower? How are vegan meal? How is vegan food more expensive? I don't really get it. A pack of tofu is cheaper than a pack of chicken breasts. I guess if you're directly comparing processed foods, so chicken nuggets versus vegan chicken nuggets, I imagine the vegan ones are more expensive. But Similar to with the cheese thing. Don't eat chicken nuggets. I didn't eat chicken nuggets before. I'm not going to start eating chicken nuggets now. I don't eat a lot. We cook all of our stuff, either with the Gusto recipes that we get every week. Link to Gusto down in the description below. But I've been getting all the Gusto plant-based meals, and they're awesome. I cook, almost all of our meals are cooked from scratch. So because of that, we're not really coming up against this whole vegan ready meals cost more than normal ready meals, because we're not buying them. We didn't buy them before. So I guess it depends on the kind of stuff you eat now. But if you're just taking, like, I don't know, a spaghetti bolognese and replacing the meat that was in there with lentils or even a plant-based mince, I think it's going to be similar cost or a little bit less. Chili con carne versus chili sin carne, you take the mince out and you put more beans in. Beans are cheaper than mince. I don't get the whole being a vegan is expensive thing. Best vegan dish you've made and would recommend. I have been getting 4 vegan meals a week from Gusto, a different meal every week, and I can genuinely say 5 weeks into doing that, I've not had a bad meal yet. I know I get a kickback from people signing up through my Gusto link, but you know what? I really recommend it. If you're looking to make the change, doing something like that it just makes it that much easier for you. You can cook from scratch, but with all the ingredients there for you, recipes to follow, it gives you that nice variety. I think the very best thing I had was like a lentil dal, which I'd never really had a dal before, but I've had a couple of different dals now, and my goodness, are they so tasty. So tasty. A lentil dal with some roasted cauliflower to kind of dip into it and give it some crunch, and I want one now. So nice. And it's not even that I'm not missing the meat in it. I don't even notice it's not got meat in. It's just a really delicious meal. And I think that is the key to a lot of this. If you decide you want to try and have vegan steak and chips, so you go and buy a vegan steak, it's obviously not going to taste as good as having an actual steak. So my suggestion is don't have steak and chips, just eat a different delicious meal. And there's plenty of delicious meals out there. Curries, chilies, tacos, that kind of stuff. There's so many different combinations and varieties you can do and make them vegan, and you don't even notice they've got meat in. And that's kind of where I've been focusing. Lots of Mexican, lots of Indian, and the odd other bits thrown in here and there. But Mexican and Indian, they are your friends when it comes to going vegan. If you like spicy food, it's easy. If you don't like spices, I guess it probably is a little bit harder. Are you finding it easy enough to ensure you're getting the correct nutrients that you normally get with meat as part of your diet? Yeah, because the only nutrient there isn't in plant-based products that would be in meat is vitamin B12, and I'm taking a vitamin B12 supplement every day. I'm also making sure I have Marmite on my toast in the morning, which is a good vegan source of B12. I've mentioned nutritional yeast before, which is another good source of B12, which, like, if I'm having beans on toast, I'll sprinkle some nutritional yeast on top. If we're having spag bol, I'll use nutritional yeast as like the parmesan on it. It's nice on popcorn, that kind of stuff. So I'm getting my B12. I know a lot of people make a big deal about where would you get your protein from if you gave up meat. Loads of stuff has protein in. Beans have loads of protein in. Tofu has protein in. Tofu's not as disgusting as I thought it was going to be. If you cook it right and flavour it right, tofu's fine. Don't try and compare it to meat, but as a standalone thing, it's nice. Loads of veggies have a lot of protein in as well. I for the first week or so, I was tracking everything on MyFitnessPal because I was worried about that, and I was hitting my protein requirements every day. And if there was ever a day where I wasn't quite there, I've got some vegan protein powder, which I'll make a smoothie, get some like handful of spinach, a bunch of berries and fruits and things, top it up with some oat milk, put a scoop of vegan protein powder in the top, whiz it all up in the blender, and there's 20 grams of protein right there. So yeah, I've not found it difficult to hit my nutritional requirements. If anything, my diet has been more balanced off the back of this because by the nature of being vegan, I'm having to eat a lot more fresh fruit and veg, which I was never a big fan of before. But now I'm having to find creative ways to incorporate it into normal meals. And I'm having probably 8-9 portions of fresh fruit and veggies a day now, which is 3 to 4 times what I was probably having before. So yeah, I'm not having any problems hitting nutritional requirements. I can have a rough idea of the sort of meals you've been eating since going vegan would be great. For example, what have you been using as a substitute for eggs? The meals have, like I've already covered. The reason I picked this one out is the egg thing, because similar to with cheese and with meat and things like that, my question is, why are you trying to substitute eggs? Do you eat a load of eggs anyway? I don't really eat eggs. I don't eat eggs at all now, but I can't remember a situation where I would just go, I really want an egg. I guess egg and bacon, but I didn't have that very often because I knew that was unhealthy. But, eggs are something we rarely bought, so I guess it's less of a big deal for me because I wasn't really an egg person. If I'm having something that would normally have egg in, I'm at the moment not really experimenting much further than going to the free from section of the supermarket and like getting free from Yorkshire puddings ready made that don't have any dairy products in. I imagine longer term I'll look to try and experiment a bit more myself. I have read that apparently if you get some ground flaxseed and mix it with some water, that can produce an eggy kind of consistency that you can use to make an omelette with. I've not experimented with anything like that, but like I say, I wasn't a big egg guy before. I'll say again, to emphasize, just spicy foods with loads of veggies, loads of beans, lentils, tofu, crispy cauliflower are a great supplement to some kind of spicy slop that's full of beans and lentils. Any kind of combination of all that kind of stuff, you're sorted. I'm really selling it with spicy slop with cauliflower on the top, I know, but I promise you, I'm a big fat guy who's been eating meat his whole life, loves meat, loves sausages, loves pork pies, you name it. If it's meat, I love it. Ribs, chicken wings, steaks. But I'm sat here now saying all this stuff. Not bothered. Don't want it. I really don't want it anymore. I think Gusto has been a big help in making that happen because it's allowed me to have the variety and try things I wouldn't have tried ordinarily. I never would have bought quinoa or frika or some of these other things that I've tried and they were great and I now eat them. I'm eating a lot of hummus. Hummus is awesome. Another good source of protein because it's full of chickpeas, which have got protein in. I've bought a few vegan cookbooks that I've not even scratched the surface on properly. I've got a Bosch cookbook. I've got the Dirty Vegan cookbook. I signed up for Veganuary, which you don't have to wait until January to do. You can sign up for Veganuary at any time and you get a daily email with recipes and resources and documentaries that you can go and watch and books that you can go and read. And I've just completely immersed myself into all of it. There's so many good documentaries on Netflix that you can go and check out if you want to find out more. Game Changers is a great place to start on Netflix, but it's a rabbit hole you can fall down. So don't start scratching the surface unless you're committed to get all the way to the bottom. Because, like I say, as recently as 6 to 8 weeks ago, I was just doing this as one of my 30-day challenges, similar to Weight Watchers and Slimming World and keto and all these other things I've done before. And it was only once the research started and I fell down that rabbit hole that it's become this whole thing. And it is very much now a thing. And I'm already looking ahead to Christmas and stuff like that and wondering what we're going to do. I imagine nut roast. It was nice last year. I'll just have that this year and it'll be fine. And yeah, I'm like I say, I feel great. So that in itself is enough. And if you're interested in finding out more, let me know down in the comments. I can link you off to some stuff. But I think a good starting point is the Veganuary website or the Game Changers documentary. If you start with either of those two, they'll lead you off into different directions that can help you find out more. Or I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have over on social media down in the comments, or if we need to do a follow-up video to this one, or maybe some recipe videos where I'm showing you some of the stuff that I'm cooking, let me know the sort of thing you want to see. If you don't care about any of this, you don't want to see it on the channel, let me know that too. But I imagine you didn't make it in this far into the video if that was the case. But we are going to wrap the video up there. It's been much longer than I anticipated it being. I apologize for that, and thank you for making it all the way through to the end if you have. But we'll wrap it up there. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave those thumbs ups on there for me. Subscribe for maybe some more content like this, but definitely some more vlog content. And thank you very much for watching.